Hi, Dr. Andrea McSwain. What about caring for the whole person? So today I had some really nice conversations with some patients, and this idea of what is the whole person. So many of us kind of appreciate that medicine has become very fragmented, and medicine has really become about this part of your body. So we can fragment a person by the part of their body, or we can fragment a person by, is it a physical or emotional or a mental problem, right? So really, how can you look at the whole person? Well, I can tell you there are some frameworks, and I really like the way that functional medicine frameworks some diseases or dysfunctions, or it actually categorize that as imbalances. And for me, an imbalance is a much better approach, because I really like the idea of thinking about creating balance and creating the inherent ability to heal, by activating that, by providing more balance. But I also like that it's a spectrum. So imbalance, what extreme of an imbalance is that? And then how much does that imbalance impact other areas? And so thinking about someone dealing with an imbalance is a little bit more helpful, because it gives it less of like a concreteness, whereas a diagnosis seems so concrete for people. And a diagnosis seems like a kind of life sentence, if you will. So I like the idea of framing a whole person into what are the balances and imbalances in different areas of structural integrity. How well are they absorbing and digesting and eliminating toxins in the body or nutrients in the body? What kind of immune imbalance is there? Is there a defense and repair concern? So I think those are like larger conceptual ideas that really look at the overview of the circumstance, and as opposed to like a diagnosis of like calcium diphosphate deposition syndrome, which is something I saw recently, and I thought that was an interesting diagnosis, because like, what do you do with that? Basically, manipulation is one way, because that's just a way to like adjust the area to make the openings happening more in the body. So anyway, what is caring for the whole person? And a lot of times it's looking at, as I said, imbalances, which I often think about looking at the forest, and then going out of looking at the forest and then going into a really microscopic view of looking at the leaves. So oftentimes when I meet with patients, and when our other staff meet with patients, we look at the forest, the trees, and I look at the leaves, because, and then we might go in and out of those perspectives to try to appreciate the severity of a situation, or where we can actually work on a treatment plan. So that's some approach to this idea of how to care for the whole person, or how to view the whole person. And then the other thing is that physical, emotional, mental, spiritual well-being, that is the whole person. And so, a lot of times people talk about, is the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual together? And yes, that's the long and the short of it. We have times where our emotions manifest into our bodies, and we can have aches. We have times when our body gets constricted, and it affects our hormones and our neurotransmitters. And so that very much plays into the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being of a person, and also those imbalances that can be created. So I wanted to share that with you so that you could appreciate, what does that even mean? One, it's getting away from this idea that you're a heart, you're a lung, you're a kidney, you're a leg, you're a gut, you're a breast, you're a brain, you're an ear, you're an eye. It's so much more than that. And your skin, that's a big one, because a lot of times people really segment the skin as if it's not part of a reflection of what's going on in the gut, or a reflection of what's happening in the liver, right? Or a reflection of what's happening in the immune response. So these ideas of a manifestation of a problem or an imbalance are often very much integrated into many organ systems. So that's a really important understanding of caring for the whole person, is seeing a symptom, seeing a problem, and then seeing its manifestations. So one that I see quite often is people, when they get stressed, they also get compressed. And so the body kind of goes into a contracted state. And one of the areas where that's really important is the base of the lungs, because that is where also the adrenals are, and it impacts the diaphragm where the esophagus goes through, so that can contribute to indigestion. And then, of course, the compression around the adrenals can contribute to adrenal fatigue. And then some people even have compression there, and it affects their kidney function. And so with those ideas, if we can decompress that area from a musculoskeletal / organ improvement, then we can actually improve all hormones and digestion. So we wouldn't necessarily always think that, oh, I'm getting my back adjusted, or I'm getting my some kind of body work done. But really, the body and the musculoskeletal system is one aspect of our physicality, but actually our organs are there too as part of our physicality. So that function of so many things beyond just the muscles and the bones being adjusted can happen in physical medicine. It can happen in integrative functional medicine. It can happen in acupuncture. It can happen with supplementation. And so all of these areas for treatment can very much go into addressing the whole person. And that's really important. So another example of that is NAD, which is an infusion, right? So people can take it sublingual and oral, but I don't really think you get any level of efficacy with that. I mean, because your bioavailability is determined by so many problems, and people who are using NAD often have so many problems with digestion, absorption, elimination. And so I just really prefer people get NAD bioavailable at 100% through infusion. So an NAD infusion it's basically giving someone a bag of energy. It's a precursor to ATP, which is our currency of energy. And so by giving NAD, we're actually helping the battery of the cell, of every cell. So we're fueling every single cell, whether it's a skin cell, whether it's a gut cell, whether it's a muscle cell, whether it's a brain cell. We all use this fundamental currency. And so when people come in, and some of the treatment plans that are up for discussion include NAD infusions, it really can help with that battery of the cell, of every cell. So there's so many things like NAD that are available through our clinic or available to patients in other clinics as well, that look at the whole person and how to care for the whole person. And so we can look at treatments that are so available to you that address so many things. And I think that's really important, because we want to look at how to be the most effective with the least invasive, with the least amount of time, right? How short can we make this treatment plan that it works for you? And then looking at you as a whole person to understand where we really want to put our biggest bang for the buck. So sometimes people come to me and they say, well, what about this supplement and what about that supplement? And if I'm not familiar with that supplement or that herb or that treatment, then of course I go to PubMed and look at the research. Oftentimes I am familiar with that supplement, or I'm familiar with that treatment idea. Sometimes that is something that I've had significant clinical experience with this as well. So I can add that clinical expertise along with the research to really help that person understand, is that really what they want? Are there other options? Is that a very specific treatment where we might be able to use something that's a little more broad reaching as a treatment to give an improvement in many different imbalances and help improve that person overall. So just some principles that I wanted to discuss with you today, and what does it mean to care for the whole person? And I hope that people can really start to recognize that there are so many treatments that are available to you to treat you as a whole person. But it's not just the treatments, right? It's actually coming in and it's being heard, it's being listened to, it's being appreciated, it's having you valued. So many years ago, a patient said to me, "I have a PhD in me." And I thought, that's right. And so when you have that partnership of the patient with the clinician, you've got a really solid team. And then in MCHM, what we do is you have other people that are part of your team at Michigan Center for Holistic Medicine. So it's health coach, for example, and the nurses, and then the estheticians and the phlebotomists and our front desk staff, which is really knowledgeable and supportive. So all of a sudden you have this team to really help you move forward and very quickly, very effectively. And that's another idea of caring for the whole person, is that really it does take quite a few people to support someone. And at MCHM, we really try to make all that happen for you with a really strong team. And we really appreciate working with other providers as well to be supportive of what you feel is best for you. And that includes in our cancer care support program. We really just shy of, mandating, we want, our cancer care support patients to be working with an oncologist, and if necessary, a pulmonologist or a cardiologist, so that there is a team, and also their family practice doctor. There's a team wrapped around that person so that we can care for them in a really complex situation. So the best care that they can get, treat you as a whole person, and provide for you with a level of expertise about the idea of treating you holistically. So thank you very much. I hope you have a lovely day, and check us out. We have discovery calls. You can check out our website. We have social media, of course, and you can sign up for our email newsletter. And we just look really forward to getting to know you better and seeing how we can work together as a team.